You can say what you want, but I never been scared. Never been scared. Never been scared.
Welcome to the More Than Sports Podcast, where everyone has a story. On today's episode, I speak with Andre Shaw. Andre, or Dre, for those that know him, is a 1998 graduate of Southwood High School in Shreveport, Louisiana. On today's episode, Dre takes the time out to speak to us about his playing baseball at an early age and how he worked into playing high school football at Southwood. On the show, Dre dives into some of his frustrations with the offensive coaching staff and how he attempted to keep a positive mindset through his time on the team. After high school, Dre decided to attend Jackson State University to continue his playing career and eventually transferred to Grambling State University, where he later graduated. Thanks for joining. Now let's start the conversation. All right, welcome to the More Than Sports Podcast. I am here with Andre Shaw, that boy Shaw that we call him. How's it going, man? Welcome to the show.
Man, I'm good, man. What's going on, fam?
Oh,
man,
man.
I ain't seen you in a while, man. So let's get ready to talk, man. I'm ready.
Good, man. No, man. I appreciate you accepting the invite. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go ahead and start from the beginning, man. So when did you start playing sports?
Oh man, when did I start playing sports? It was a long, long time ago. It was back in the 80s, man. So I believe the first sport I ever played was T-ball. Started off with T-ball. It was back in Spar League, but I was always into sports growing up. But baseball was my thing. Baseball was completely me. But once I got a little bit older, once I got to like 6, 7 years old, I got introduced into flag football. I was cool, you know, it was okay and everything, but I started playing flag football. I noticed I was good at it, and I kept going with it. But I always played growing up. I always played two sports growing up. So really, it's just. Man, it's been embedded in me. It's been embedded in me since I was young. I think, like I said, I started playing when I was like 4 years old.
Okay. So you were playing, what leagues were you playing in? Were you playing in any leagues, or you just playing in the neighborhood at 4 or 5 years old?
Yeah, I was playing in the neighborhood too. I was actually playing in the neighborhood too, but also, in the leagues I was playing in Spar. I actually started in the Spar League. The first team I ever played for was named Sunset Acres. It was Sunset Acres Indians. It was the elementary school that I went to, and they had like a program that went from all the way from pre-K all the way to 5th grade in some cases. So it was just, and I just grew up in all of it, man.
Is that something you went to your parents and said you wanted to play, or was that something they just put you in just because they wanted to get you active?
Well, yeah, actually, because my older brother used to play football too. He used to play sports too. So if he played, I was gonna play. So it was something to basically just keep us in shape, basically, and always give us something to do, and just something to grow up, give us good esteem, and have great esteem for ourselves and everything. So yeah, you know, just a whole lot of esteem and stuff.
Did you play the exact same sports that your brother played, or did you kind of veer off and start doing your own thing?
I think I did. I believe I did. I played baseball. I played football. I'm not sure what my brother played. I don't think he played basketball organized, but I played organized basketball, and I tried other things, but those three main sports basically are the main things that I played. But I think my brother, he did other things as well, but I'm not sure. But
okay. So, like you said, you were playing for Sunset during elementary school. So you were playing primarily baseball. You said you started doing some flag football also. Is that you just kept playing those all through elementary school?
Yeah, definitely. I played those all the way through, and I didn't realize I was getting good, and probably until I got to like second or third grade, and I know I got cousins. Well, I had cousins that played with me too, and shoot, we all played at the same time. We grew up in the same league, basically, just
Mm.
like they say, in the same forming league or whatever. We all
Hmm.
grew up in the same league and stuff, so it was just played.
Right. Do you think that's a benefit?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know people have different thought processes behind that. Playing early at
Mm-hmm.
like 4, 5, and 6, as opposed to maybe somebody starting to play, maybe 9, 10, 11. Do you
19,
think you
11.
do you think you personally gained some benefits from playing early?
I think I did. I think I got some benefits of playing early because as I was growing up, I got a little bit bigger than most of the guys that I was playing with at my age. So that I know my mom had put me into to age groups where that was older than me. So I know some of the guys around the neighborhood that I played with when I was say like if I was 7 years old, I was playing with some guys that was like 9, 10 years old. So I played with some bigger. I was a bigger kid back then,
Hmm.
and I always played up in my age. So
Right.
it was baseball and football. I played both of that up in my age. So
Okay. So as you transition to middle school, did you
hmm
did you keep that moving forward, or did you decide to?
actually, actually, I did. Actually, I did.
Mm.
Sixth grade, I didn't play any football because I think Cattle had some type of rule like if you was in sixth grade, you couldn't play football or something like that. I don't know if it was a school rule or not. I can't remember, but I
Mm.
always played baseball. Baseball was what we had. Well, actually, we had a team that grew up the from the t-ball
From the
leagues
beginning,
all
from
the
the
way to a
beginning. Yeah.
fast pitch league. So we had some of the same guys that played with us from that age all the way to middle school and beyond some of those years too. So yeah, I
Okay.
believe and to answer your following question
Hmm.
too that you had too about it will it help did it help in the
Right.
long run.
Well, I,
So
I think certain sports, yes. I think like baseball,
hmm
definitely. Golf, tennis, those are sports that probably need to be started earlier.
yeah,
I think like basketball and football and things of that nature, probably something you can catch on a little
I
later
think you catch
if you
on to
if you
that.
didn't
Yeah,
start as young.
hmm
Because there's so much precision when it comes
it
to like
is.
golf and baseball and things of that nature, as far as watching the ball and some of the nuances that come with the game. Starting
hmm
earlier, I think is a lot more beneficial
Yeah.
for those sports as it relates to basketball and football.
hmm
Um, so it
Definitely.
seems like just based on what I'm hearing, baseball is your first love.
Yeah, baseball always been my first love. Baseball is still my first love to this day. Even though
Hmm.
I played football, even some of the guys know me as a football player, but I
Right.
always played baseball. Baseball was my first love.
Yeah. So I guess that's what I'm a little curious. So like,
hmm
where did it get to where you had that divide
Oh man,
where you stopped playing?
the day I stopped playing is the day I went to Southwood actually,
Okay.
because we know back in the day we didn't play baseball at
Right. Right.
Southwood,
Right.
so
Right.
I was actually wasn't even going to Southwood to play football or
Okay.
anything. So I was actually going to Fair Park or Huntington because the coaches at those schools was actually friends of my dad. My dad used to play baseball years ago when before segregation of
Hmm.
the schools around here. So, and some of those coaches played with my dad. So now they're coaching, and my dad came up in the Spar League as well. And those
Hmm.
guys came here and approached me and was like, if you play half as well as your dad, you could come in as a freshman and play as a baseball player. And
Okay.
it, but I was
Wow.
telling them like, and I was telling them like, well, I'm gonna go to Southwood because my big brother is already there. So
Hmm.
I went on and went to Southwood, but you know,
Okay. So I guess I want to pack that. Like, so your dad was a really talented baseball player,
yes,
and based on what you're saying, you started playing at 4. I guess based on
hmm
some of like your dad's influence because he played. Your brother, I'm assuming your brother played.
hmm
So from 4 to like you said, your freshman year, from 4 to basically 14, you were playing
hmm
baseball for 10 years.
I'm playing baseball. Yes, sir.
So
Playing baseball.
And I'm gonna assume that you were a pretty good baseball player. Like,
Hmm. Actually, some people say I was a better baseball player than I was a football player.
okay.
And
So now
shoot,
you know what I'm asking. Like
why the switch?
why did you? Yes, absolutely. Like,
Oh man, so the switch came because actually a whole lot of people didn't know this. I tried out for the baseball team at Southwood, and during that time, like I said, they didn't, for some strange reason, they didn't want us to play.
mm,
Being said
it
to
wasn't
that,
it wasn't a strange reason.
yeah, we know. And plus, one of my good friends, actually one of my brother's good friends, he actually played on the baseball team. If you remember Melvin Porter, he was on the baseball
Oh yeah.
team
Hmm.
when I went to school. I tried out for the baseball team, and I was hitting them over the fence. I was hitting everything that they pitched. You threw a slider. I knew how to hit it in the gaps. I know how to catch. I know how to field. I had the total package, and they didn't pick me up, so I left it alone. And that's why I said I'm gonna dedicate everything to my football career.
So you not making it when you first got there your freshman year. It didn't drive you to kind of
Well,
try harder. Like you felt like, or and maybe you can't answer this question because I mean
I,
obviously it was a long time ago. Like you did you feel like you were cheated or slighted or not treated fairly, or
I
did
think
you? Go ahead.
I think I was actually slighted because
Hmm.
as I was growing up playing baseball and everything, so I I got write ups and everything up from newspapers and stuff saying I was supposed to be proclaimed to be the next Albert Bell.
Okay.
So I was supposed to go from high
Yeah.
school to the pros.
Hmm.
That was my way out.
Yes.
But and then shoot, I went out here because basically I wanted to play against different talent, even though some of
Hmm.
those guys I played against growing up, and they didn't see it like that. So and then I didn't want to go through it because I already knew the story and everything. So and
Hmm.
plus what they did to Melvin, and it kind of gave me a bad season. It gave me a bad taste in my mouth anyway. So
Did did you have any conversations with your dad about that, as far as not looking to pursue that, or how the trials went, like during your
yeah,
freshman year?
yeah, we did. We talked about it. He didn't agree with me. He didn't disagree with me. He was like, basically, he said you have two options. He said you basically have two options. You can go back or you can transfer. I said no, I'm not going. I'm not going to transfer, and I didn't want to go back. I just wanted to. I wanted to stick out there and play football
Hmm.
and everything. So I just stayed out there with my brother, hung out with my brother, stayed with him, and we played
Okay.
ball.
So your dad gave you two options. He said you can transfer or
Hmm.
go back out there and try it again,
Yeah,
and you chose you didn't take either option.
I ain't take either option. No,
Okay.
I didn't take either option. So, but no, actually, it's just really once I made my mind up, I was like, I was done with it anyway. By that time when we uh, playing baseball, the team that I was on, we got older. We played in
Hmm.
every division that you could name up. We played in AAU, Dixie League Minors, Dixie League Majors, Spar. Everybody just got old. Everybody moved on and went to high school. So it was
Right.
now just basically now trying to set my own path. So
Hmm.
and I believe that was going to set my path. So it was fine.
Right.
I accepted it. Yeah.
Well, and I think we mentioned this before on with other people. Like, you never know when that last time will be, when
Hmm.
you'll throw a baseball in the game or run a football in the game, or
Yeah.
whenever that your last opportunity to play will be.
Hmm.
Um, I think if we thought a little bit more about that, we probably make a little bit make different decisions
Different decisions. Yeah.
based on that. Because I'm pretty sure, like, once you didn't make the team
Hmm.
that freshman year,
Hmm.
maybe the thought went in your head like, well, you know what, I'm never going to play baseball, like in a
Again.
professional, well, not professional, but in an organized setting for a school or organization again.
Hmm. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I just
Okay.
just focus. I just focus on other things, and plus most of the people that I knew, they already went to Southwood. So Just went on out there. My brother told me come out there and see what I can do. Came out there. I went out there freshman year and I showed out. So
Okay, so coming in, so obviously, like you said, didn't decided not to play or move forward playing baseball. So you focused, dialed in 100% on football.
on football.
So, and you mentioned earlier about you playing football. Like, what position did you play previously? Or
Previously, oh man, shoot. back in the sport era, I played line. Basically, I played line, tight end. I might play some defensive line or maybe a little bit of linebacker, but mostly because I wasn't a chubby kid, but I was always one of the tallest kids. And then they had me on the line most of the time, so
right.
I said okay, but I really wanted to do other things, but it was fun. I met a lot of people and met a whole lot of good people about playing football.
Okay. So when you got to Southwood as a freshman,
Hmm.
how was the conversations going forward with the coaching staff as far as like what position you wanted to play? Because I think for the most part, everybody's coming in there on a clean slate and they're
Hmm.
asking you what position you'd like to play.
Okay. Yeah. When I went out for the freshman team, I I actually started off as a Mike linebacker. I was a strong side linebacker. I played the position. Like I said, I played it, and because I came from middle school, actually I played linebacker in middle school too, and I was pretty decent. You know, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't decent. I was decent. So, but I played linebacker and I think I played a couple of games at linebacker, and they was they was actually impressed with what they saw. So, and then I don't know what happened. One day, coach just asked me, "Hey, do you want to play offense?" I said, "I was thinking line. I was thinking lineman or tight end." He was like, "No, do you want to play fullback?" My eyes lit up. I'm like, "Oh, I get to touch the ball." so, yeah. So I said, I could try it out. And for the first couple of times, they had me blocking. That felt like it was the same like linebacker, but the only
Right.
difference is I couldn't tackle. And but once they gave me that ball for the first time, oh man, I was hooked. I was hooked. I was like, oh man, I'm not going back to linebacker anymore. I'm gonna stay at this fullback position the whole way.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine that. So, did you have any like training? Like, did they train you at all, or did you have any like? How did you figure
Um,
out like holding the ball? Like, there's certain types of ways that you're supposed to hold the ball. Like coming in, never playing a position before. Like it's like,
yeah.
hey, we're gonna put you at fullback. Just hold the
Hmm.
ball. Don't drop it.
Only training that I really have is basically when you play just dead man football, where you just throw the ball up in the air, you
Yeah.
catch it
Yeah.
and try to hold on to it as long as you can without getting tackled. That's really the only training when I came in that I had. Uh, I had to be retrained to learn how to get the ball, grab it, which way to grab it. So, but yeah,
Right.
I had to be retrained because
Right.
my mindset was hitting people. I was just I was a head hitter. I was a head hunter. So I had to recondition my thinking when it came
Right.
to offense.
Okay.
So
All right. So coming in there, you change from linebacker to fullback. So
hmm
how did the season go? That first freshman year you're stepping on. I mean, obviously the competition is a little different from what you saw
yeah.
in junior high. But how
Hmm.
did that season go when you got started?
Well, the season was actually cool. I can't remember what the record was, but
Hmm.
we actually did good. I don't think we lost too many that we
Right.
won, but sure, but I think we did good.
Hmm.
I
So
did. Hmm.
what was your perception of like, all right, now that you're playing freshman and then, you got one eye looking at
Hmm.
JV and one eye looking at the varsity team, you kind of keeping eyes on them as well.
Yeah.
So were you kind of in awe of the JV and the varsity teams when you were coming in, or was it something like you were like, all right, I just waiting my turn, waiting my opportunity?
Well, actually, But actually, when we came in, we were supposed to play in as sophomores. We were supposed to play varsity as sophomores. That's when Coach Worden had the team. We were supposed to come in.
Right.
He sat us down and said, "Hey, I want you guys to get ready because you guys are too big not to be playing. Y'all, we gonna have some type of way to put y'all into the games and stuff." So we was actually hyped up and amped for it. And they had the coaching change at that, I think that summer. And after that, it just it just went. Everybody did their own thing. So to me, once they did that coaching change that summer, it was like, oh man, where do we go from here? Because once one coach told us one thing, and then another coach come in and saying that he believes sophomores don't play. I'm like, man, wow, man. So now we're in the loop. So I don't know what's going on now, but I continue to, like I said, I continue to be steadfast and do what I need to do to show
Right.
them
So
that
what
I
did they tell
can.
you like when there was a coaching change? Did you just introduce one day or?
Hmm. Yeah, they introduced us and everything, and basically we was on offense. At that time, I remember, and who was there? I'm trying to see who. I know Pat Dennis was there at the time. He was the quarterback at the time, and those
Hmm.
guys, they was already established. Those guys are not going anywhere. Pat Dennis, Corona, Boston, uh, Jeff Brooks, those guys, they weren't going anywhere. It's just we were supposed to be the new breed that come in that supposed to bring that luster back. Well, Southwood lost back
Right.
in the mid-90s. We were supposed to be that. We were supposed to be that class that get ready to punch you in the mouth. But once they did the change, it was a whole new regime came in, and we. I don't know. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna say we got lost in the loop, but it was a whole different
Right.
philosophy that went
So
on
y'all didn't
at that
keep
time.
a lot of the same plays or same playbook. Y'all went to a totally new offense.
But actually, I think we kept the same offense. We definitely kept the same offense. It was, as I remember, I think it was like a I
Nah,
think it
for
was
yeah.
like a I
Power eye.
formation, something like that. I formation,
Power eye.
power eye. Yeah, 36 power. I hate that. But yeah, shoot. But yeah, we
Hmm.
kept the same philosophy and shoot, we worked hard. And after they told us that some of us wasn't playing, or some of us we felt like I said, we felt kind of out of place and everything. But we some of us
Hmm.
we practice even harder and stuff with the JV and everything. Like, because I think our sophomore and junior year of our JV years, we went
Okay.
undefeated. I don't think
So
we lost.
like during that sophomore year,
So,
like you said, they had the coaching change.
hmm
How did you view like the upperclassmen? I know you had mentioned a couple players like Karan Boston,
yeah,
Pat Dennis, and things of that nature. But like you said,
hmm
coming in as a sophomore playing JV,
yeah,
seeing that group, like how did you view them?
yeah. I looked at them like big brothers. They kept me on point in some ways. They tell you like, little brother, hold back, you gonna get your turn. Because I was antsy. I'm like, man, I'm ready to play, man. I'm ready to play. Shoot, Karan used to tell me, man, be cool, little brother. You gonna get in. Don't worry about it. Don't
Right.
worry about it. You get your
Did-
time. So, but they but they
mhm.
but they
So
groomed me and
is
everything.
that?
So.
Can you speak to one or two players that maybe possibly mentored you when you got there and started getting some more additional playing time?
Mhm. Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I could tell
Hmm.
you, Pat Dennis is one of them. Pat Pat basically told me because I used to practice throwing passes with Pat, and he used to tell me all the time. He said, "Shaw, I always thought you had soft hands." I said, "No." I said, every time you hit me in the hands, Pat, they gonna pop, man. But yeah, but yeah, Pat used to keep me on point of everything was going on, and shit, who else used to? And on the defensive side, actually, I used to talk to
Okay.
like Charles Laws and stuff. So Charles used to keep me. He used to keep me grounded and
Right.
everything. So
Okay.
I just try to listen to them because those guys been there and
Well, yeah, you got those are two guys who
shoot,
had a lot of
they give me the
success,
tools I
and then
need.
obviously, like you said, moved on and had the opportunity to play
Hmm.
at the next level also. So, absolutely.
Hmm.
Was
So
there
yeah,
anybody
definitely,
that you
definitely,
modeled your game after?
definitely. Oh man, talking about
Either one.
pros
Yeah,
or
you
just
can give
anybody
me
that played
one that you
anything.
played with, and then one maybe in the pros that you modeled your game after.
I could tell you one person that I played with, um, that I've tried to model my game after is I'm gonna tell you like this, Elwood. I like how Elwood Washington played when he was
Okay.
playing fullback. I like how he did. He was hard nosed. He wasn't scared to hit you. He wasn't scared to hit the holes, and he wasn't scared to get the job done. And when he do his thing, he Elwood used to come with it. I would say it like that. I was afraid to hit it. If I was on defense, I'd be afraid to hit Elwood because Elwood
Hmm.
he was a little strong dude, man. Shoot, pros wise, I like as a fullback. I used to
Mm.
watch Nature and
Oh yeah,
Means,
yeah.
man.
Everybody remember
Big Nate,
Natron,
man.
right?
He was
Solid.
just strong, man. Just strong. Yeah, just a solid guy, just strong. And if he didn't use a stiff arm, he just dropped his shoulder and keep going, keep going. So shoot, man. Maybe I should have used my stiff arm more,
Right,
but
right.
yeah, but I like his running style though.
Cool.
I always loved
So
his running
when you
style.
got there as a freshman, just to kind of backtrack, the fullback on the varsity team
Hmm.
was who? Do you recall?
Ooh, the
Was it
fullback
one of the
was,
twins?
oh man, it wasn't it wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't Frank yet. It wasn't Frank yet. I think Frank was the
Okay.
fullback then, I believe. I'm trying to see. They had somebody else too, but I know Frank was going in as
Right.
well. So yeah, I
Hmm.
think yeah, Fred was a linebacker. And Frank, it would be but shoot, they gonna hate me for that. They gonna hate me for that. But I love them dudes, man. But shoot, they gonna hate me. But I think it was Frank. I think Frank was the
Right.
fullback
Okay.
and Fred was the
All right.
linebacker.
So your junior year, like you said,
Hmm.
you guys playing junior varsity, and that season, like you said, ended up being
Yep.
undefeated and winning the championship. So like, what did you feel like, or what did that mean to you coming through
Mhm.
in that junior varsity during your junior year to win the city championship?
Oh man, I was like, shoot, next year it's gonna be our time because we were. I said, shoot, we got the same people. We actually some of the same folks coming back, and we adding more firepower to what we have. So I was thinking, man, shoot, we was gonna lose. We probably gonna lose 3 games, maybe 3. I already counted out the Bird game because Arnez. But other than that, I said, shoot, we might lose 3 games. I even thought we was gonna be. I thought we was gonna win against Marshall that year because we actually looked like a
Hmm.
well-rounded team, offensive side on the offensive side and defensive
Right.
side. So I thought we was gonna come in and we was gonna we're gonna get something
Absolutely.
for the
So
city to talk
did
about.
you change anything about your preparation, training wise, film study wise?
Yeah,
Um,
I did. I did. I started looking at film more. I started looking at film more. I started actually realizing what defenses look like. I started really just looking at the defenses, and I know what blitz is coming, what offenses like what defense set they're in to where I know what hole I need to go to as a fullback. I know where the play going, so I know where the hole gonna be at, and I also know where the linebacker gonna be at. So when I hit the hole, the linebacker should be there,
mhm.
and I do my thing. So if not, I go to the next level,
Right.
do
Is
my
that
thing
something you
up
kind
there.
of started on your own, or was that something that the coaching staff was working with everybody as far as film study?
Yeah, actually, I think I started on my own, and also with the help, with my uncle too. 'Cause if you remember, my uncle used to
Hmm.
walk the sidelines with us
Right.
doing the film work and everything. So with the film work he get, I used to watch the film, and we used to sit down here on Saturdays, and we'll go back over the film and everything. So, and I think that helped me
Hmm.
out a whole lot my
Okay.
senior year too.
So, as far as you kind of picking it up, starting to watch film study, like how did you treat things like physically working out wise? Did you pretty much keep the
Like
same
physically
regimen, or
working
did you
out.
change anything?
Actually, I changed up a little bit. I changed up a little bit because I was thinking
Hmm.
actually I was going to go to the next level. So I changed up my diet. I stopped eating. I stopped going down the street getting the McDonald's, the dollar hamburgers and stuff, and the fries. I stopped doing that at that time, and I started actually focusing
Hmm.
on stamina because I knew I was going to go. I was going to try to go
Right.
to the next level and play. But weight wise, because I actually played fullback at because the
Yeah.
coaches they
Yeah.
gonna exaggerate your weight. They gonna add a little bit to your weight. I think they had me like at 235, but I think I was like at
Okay.
180. I was like at 180, but they had me like at 235 on the
On
scale.
the
I
program.
mean on the program. I'm like, man, I'm nowhere near 235. So, but yeah, but shoot, I might have played like I was
Right.
235, but I wasn't
Right.
235. I wasn't even nowhere near.
Mm.
I don't even think I was
So
200
did you?
pounds then.
So like you said, you were making some
But yeah.
changes, studying film, preparation wise. You were making changes with your diet and your workout. So you were making the necessary changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you feel like the rest of the team were making similar sacrifices?
I don't want to put nobody out
Well,
there,
you don't have to say any
but
names.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna. No, I ain't gonna say any names, but shoot, it's just some people put
Hmm.
in the work, some people didn't. Some people didn't have to put in the work to do it. Some people needed to put in the work, but didn't do the work. But if everybody would have been on one accord and everybody would have did that thing, man,
Hmm.
we could easily won state. I think we could have easily at least
Right.
went to the dome.
Do you
I
feel
really
like
think that. But
looking back at it now, if you would have maybe
mhm.
encouraged them to kind of work harder, that would have been received well?
Probably so, cause I don't consider myself being a. I'm not
Hmm.
too loud. I ain't too vocal. But I could have did some. I might probably could have did some things that have got people up aroused and stuff. But I'm more sit back, laid back, do my job,
Hmm.
go home. You know, I ain't gonna sit there and I ain't gonna rah rah.
Right.
I ain't gonna Tim Tebow a team. I can't do that. I can't give you that fire speech. I
Right.
can't do that. I'm not that guy. But I try to let my
Yeah.
play do
Absolutely.
my
Okay.
talking, basically. Yeah, some games I probably end up being mad, but
Right.
I let my play
Well,
do
I
my
mean, if,
talking. So
if you play a lot of games and you never get mad, that means something wrong with you on your end. Because it is. I mean, because that's just a part of the game, man.
it
There's going to
so
be
is.
adversity. Like, stuff is going to happen. That's not going to
Mm-hmm.
go your way. So you will
Yeah.
get upset. If you don't get upset,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
you're not playing the right
You
sport.
just you're not playing right at all.
Right.
Yeah.
So as that
Mm-hmm.
season starts, like you said, you had high expectations,
Mm-hmm.
saying that you were looking at maybe losing, maybe 2 games, 3 games. So you start out the gate 0-3.
Yeah.
So can you kind of speak to that mindset
Mm-hmm.
from based on your expectations? Now reality set in.
Yeah. Well, actually, I
Hmm.
still thought we was better than what we were because when we went and played Marshall that year, when Steve got that interception, when the defensive lineman got that interception, I like, oh man, this is gonna be the year here. This is the year right here. I said, this is what I'm talking about. And shoot, but we went down there. We put up that L, but at the same time, we wasn't expecting to win
Right.
anyway because Marshall Mavericks, and but shoot, we had a good showing out there, but
Right.
we almost won. And I'm like, man, shoot, if we can take Marshall to the limit, we dang sure could take Bird to the limit. We sure could take. We could take. We'll demolish Woodlawn. We'll
Right.
We'll beat Huntington. Shoot, our only problem is probably gonna be Bird. You know, and that's why I said I'm like, shoot, we should be able to run through everybody this year. But so yeah, it's just I was that 0-3 start. It hurt, but I already knew we had a better team than what we have. So I really didn't look at the record at that time, but I knew
Right.
we can actually catch that run because we always played a hard preseason.
Yeah.
Southwood
The
always played a
non-district was
hard
always
preseason.
tough. Right.
So it was tough. It was tough. You had to turn around and go play. They had to turn around and play Marshall one week, and then had to turn around and go to
Got
play
Ruston
Washington, and then had to play Ruston, and oh man, no, I can understand that.
Well, yeah, like you said, you're playing schools that for the most part will be playing for state championships, or at least really close to state championships every year. So
Yeah,
I mean, to some point, like you said, it's a good measure stick to see where your program is. But again,
yeah,
some of those games, if they were replaced with other games, it would have given the team a stronger opportunity to make the postseason, to make the playoffs. So it's
definitely,
catch
definitely.
22, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah,
But I do want to talk a little bit about like the rest of that season. So you started 0-3, then you kind of finish out 4-3 the rest of the season. So 4-6 is the record. You miss the playoffs. Obviously, like you said, falls short of your expectations. You were looking at potentially a 7-3 season, and then you're 4-6. So,
Yeah.
where's your mindset there as you're closing out the season? Maybe still at closer to the end of the season, if you kind of close out 1 or 2 games, you still have an opportunity to make the playoffs. But that doesn't happen. So, like, what is your mindset at that point?
No, man. I didn't know we went four. I didn't know we won 4 straight. I forgot about that, but I forgot we did lose those last 2 games too. So, oh man, yeah, we did win 4 straight.
Well, yeah, like you said, coming into those last 2 games, if you
Going
win
back
either of those
to-
games, you're in there. You have an opportunity to play on. So
Yeah. The game that we were supposed to win to get in was the airline game. I remember that play. I remember the play. It's always embedded in my mind because I was on that. I was on that onside team where the ball went straight up in the air, and I couldn't get to the ball, man. I couldn't get to the ball because if I remember, I don't know. I might be saying the wrong person. I'm gonna say name. I don't care, but I'm gonna say I don't know if it hit Showma. I think Showma was on there, and I think it hit Showma.
He
Showma
was on the
tried to
hands
recover
team?
the ball. The ball hit him in the hip and it went straight. He was on
Okay.
hands team. Somebody was on hand. Yep, he was on hands team. I remember that play like yesterday. I remember that play. But yeah, ball went straight up. I couldn't get back to it. Dude from LI caught the ball. I'm like, oh man. Because if I remember, I think we was up. We was actually up, and they went down there and scored again. And that was I think that was the end of our season, man.
Right.
And that hurt. Oh,
So well, like you said, as you come down, like now like you're not going to be in the playoffs. Like, how did you feel? How did you feel like you performed individually? Like I said, you did all these things, watching film, did all these things, changing your diet to have like to maximize what you get out of your season. Like, how do you feel like? Did you get a return on your investment?
No, I really didn't because I really wanted to go to playoffs after experiencing the playoffs. I was sophomore year. I was ready to go back, man. I enjoyed the playoffs, even though we played that one game, and I think we played against Cancro, and we almost won the game, but circumstances we didn't win it. But I wanted to go back and feel that. I wanted to go back and feel that energy again of having another round at it again,
Right.
man. And see if we can make that push going to the dome, man. I wanted to feel that
Right.
one more
So
time.
how do you feel like you performed though, like
And
individually? Like how did you think your season was? Did you
individually,
meet your expectations like that season?
I think I did. Personally, I think I did good. It could have been better because certain powers that be did, and because if you remember certain games I was supposed to play it, I didn't play because they wanted to try something out. But I feel like when I was on the field, I did my job. I did my job, and I guarantee you, if you hand me the ball off, you're not gonna lose a yard. I don't even think I lost a yard that season. I don't think I
Good
lost
play.
got any negative yards that season.
So
But
how did you
yeah,
handle
so
that when, like you mentioned earlier, when the coaching staff was trying something new? Like how did they approach you about it, and how did you
mhm.
receive it as a player?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't have. Yeah, I had some issues about it at the time. I understood because I'm a team player, and I understood what's best for the team. You'll try it out. I used to believe in the coach. Whatever the coach do, I'm gonna go and run with it. I might not agree with it, but I run with it. It's just certain circumstances where basically you incited to where like you let seniors play, only seniors will play, but
Hmm.
seniors didn't play when I played. You know, you had sophomores in there, and I didn't understood that. And I ain't gonna tell you so. That's why sometimes I used to go off on the sideline too, because you
Right.
told us one thing, you
So
did
what,
another.
like,
So you know, but when I was
so
on the field, I did my thing.
explain that to
Mhm.
us. So when you say you would go off on the sideline, what did that look like?
Oh, oh, the helmet is going across the field. The helmet going across the field. Man, shoot, my mom coming down. Well, shoot, at the time, my mom coming down used to tell me chill out and all that stuff. And it's because, like, I practice hard all week to do the job. And then 45 minutes for a game, you tell me you finna put XYZ in. You can sit me out for at least a half. Okay. I understand. So now halftime come.
Mm.
I'm still waiting. Now, third quarter in, it's fourth quarter. Hell, my damn jersey,
Right.
my uniform still clean. What the hell
Yeah.
going on? So I'm like, man, shoot. And I'm like, I just
Well,
said,
and
man,
no,
shoot,
and I get
I
that. Like,
guess, man.
based
So
on the preparation that you saying
yeah.
that you've done over the summer and through the season, and if that was part of the game
Mm-hmm.
plan during the week, that's one thing. But you're saying basically during warmups
Mm-hmm.
or on the bus ride over,
Yeah.
like the game plan has changed, and like
Mm-hmm.
you said, you had your faith in the coach and believing in the system that he was going to get
Yeah.
you back into the game at a certain point, and then that certain point comes and that certain point
Mm-hmm.
goes. So you're confused,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess like you said, this being your senior season,
Mm-hmm.
and we're letting a few games slip away that you feel that you guys could have won. I could see how that could add to the frustration,
Yeah.
and I could definitely see why a
Yeah.
helmet would be flying across the field.
Mm-hmm. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not like that anymore. It's just
Well, I mean, 17, 18, man, we've all
yeah.
done stuff like we look at today like, well,
Yeah, we done stuff.
chalk that up with being a kid. So,
Mm-hmm. Shoot, man, because I remember when, because to go back on one of your interviews you had, I know you had talked to Joe when one of the coaches had talked to us about what we need to do,
hmm
how could we improve and stuff. So basically, I had the same questions asked to me too. And I told him, I said, man, shoot, we need to put more. Basically, we had to use more speed, you know. So we had one of the fastest guys in the state on the team.
Right.
I don't even think they used him. We had one of the fastest guys in the state. And they ain't used him.
Why do you think that was though? Like just based on your opinion, like you obviously you can't read the coaching staff's mind, but just based on your opinion from what you saw, why do you think that person wasn't utilized?
I'm not sure because he was a senior too, and it was just to the fact that because I even sat down and tried to vouch for him. I tried to vouch for him to, hey, this guy need to be on the field right now. I don't care if it's kickoff return, I don't care if it's punt return, I don't care if it's running, I don't care if it's back there in the backfield behind me. This dude need to be on the field. There's no doggone way this dude run a sub 4.2 sitting on the bench. I told him that. And eventually they put him out there on punt team and everything, but it was too little too late. So we already 4 games in the season. It's too little too late. So, but, and also and to answer your question is basically you need, they didn't prepare him, you know. They didn't prepare him, and I didn't like how they went about.
Was he a player that
personally I didn't like how they went about?
Came in mid-season, or maybe came in his junior season? Was he there the whole time?
He was there the whole time.
So he was there. He was there playing from his freshman year, like you were, all the way the whole time.
The whole time. Definitely.
So during his sophomore, junior seasons, was he getting a lot of reps, JV varsity wise? And then just his senior year,
a lot of reps. Yeah, he was one of the part of the reasons why we went undefeated because you couldn't catch him. So you couldn't catch him. So it's just I don't know. I didn't understand. I didn't understand that varsity at all.
Well, and I think we all know that coaches do have their favorites. And it doesn't necessarily make sense to us at the time, or maybe even ever. But I've seen it, and obviously you speaking to it now that you've seen situations where certain players had an opportunity to play where you felt like others were more deserving and more capable and probably could have gotten a lot more production for the team. But for whatever reason, the coaching staff decided to I'll throw my quotes up, try something.
Yeah, try something. Oh my God.
So as that season closed out, can you kind of speak to me? Like, what was your relationship with the coaching staff?
Actually, I was cool with the coaches. I was actually cool with the coaches, and I always asked my parents. My mom used to play basketball. My dad used to play baseball. So their philosophy was respect the coach. Whatever situation you get put into, respect the coach. Respect his word. Might not agree with it. Respect the word. You know, he's the coach. So, like I said, I've never had any problems with the coaches. I actually respect them. I actually still like them to this day. You know, I have no bad ill wills towards them at all because I respect them. And I see a couple of them from time to time. So we talk and everything.
All right. So you were, like you were mentioning earlier, you had changed your workout and your preparation because you had aspirations or expectations of playing in college. So did you have any conversations with coaches about like your expectations? Or did they come and speak to you about possibly playing in college?
Well, I know Coach Morning came. Coach Morning actually came to me and talked to me about playing in college and everything. And I told him that I was planning to attend, but at that time I wasn't going to play. But I went on and played. We sat back there in the back and did those films on that 2-tape VCR. Oh man. Went through a whole bunch of film, and plus I had my uncle doing some stuff too.
Can you speak to like you said earlier, like your
Hmm.
expectation based on your preparation was to play at the next level, but after the season was over with, it seemed like you
Yeah,
didn't want to play anymore.
yeah, yeah. To that point, I was because I was already being recruited. I was already being recruited by Jackson State. So I did my tour and everything of Jackson State and everything, and it wasn't from help of the coaches. That's what I was saying, because once I did my films and everything, I sent my films off. Jackson State was the only school that really
Okay.
that hit me up. And when they hit me up, we
Well,
went down
hold
there
on. I
for a
don't want to
tour.
get hit. I'll guess
And
just to clarify because I've heard a lot of stories about creating tapes.
okay,
So
okay,
who did you send the tape to?
okay. Oh shoot!
Well,
All
I'm
the
just saying,
tapes I
like, no,
sent to,
specifically, like at
at least a
Jackson
couple of them I
State, like,
sent
who
to.
did you send the tape to?
Oh, oh shoot! At the time, Big Daddy Carson was there,
Okay.
Coach Carson was there, and my uncle actually knew Coach Norden. He was there. He used to play. He used to play for the Bills. Gabe
Okay.
Norden. He was a running back coach down at Jackson State, which he went to Southern. He went to Southern University with my uncle, and my uncle knew him from Southern, and he told me about Coach Norden at Jackson State, and I sent him the film. Actually, I sent him the film. Well, it was a bunch. It was actually me and Jerry. I sent him a film. I did a film with Jerry as well. So we both they invited us to come down there. We did the tour,
Well, and I
and
just say that
they
because
loved it.
a lot of people that I've spoken to,
Yeah.
or you can go back, they say they created tapes and they sent them off to
Hmm.
schools, but they didn't necessarily have anybody specifically that they could send a
Yeah.
tape to. They were just sending it maybe to the athletic department or addressing it to whoever. But it seems like you
Oh,
had somebody a name.
I had an iron
Right.
in the pot. I had an iron
Okay.
in the fire. But I did send some tapes to different schools and stuff where I did have to go through the athletic department
Hmm.
to be seen. And I had a couple of them that responded, but I didn't I didn't
Okay.
I was already
So
accepted to
what were the other
Jackson.
schools that
So
you submitted highlight tapes to?
submitted thing. Southern Miss, Louisiana Tech, who else? ETBU, uh SFA.
Okay.
That's probably all I can remember
What
right now. And I sent the fantasy one out. Look, I sent the
did you?
fantasy one out to Alabama. You know I had to send one out to the Tide. Shit, I already knew. I said, shoot, maybe. but nah,
Okay.
I just sent one out to them.
So they reached out to you about coming on board. Well, you said you went down there for a visit. So talk about that visit.
Hmm. Oh man, the visit was cool actually. Coach Norton, he met us at the Walton Payton Center, and shoot, we came out and we walked around. We basically walked around, checked out the facilities and everything. Walked on the school campus. Beautiful, man. It's beautiful. And went to the field. Actually,
They play
they play
downtown, right?
downtown. They
Hmm.
play in downtown Jackson, so we couldn't actually go to the stadium, but the workout facilities, the stadium, well, the practice facility basically is. It was for HBCU. It was top notch. So that really got me hooked in to going to Jackson at that
Okay.
time. So that I was already a go once
So
I
you
stepped on
mentioned earlier
campus.
that you came down with Jerry Washington. So he was going to be attending also
Hmm.
with you.
Yeah, he was going to actually attend with me. Then other things, I think that year something happened in his
Hmm.
family to where he had to stay home.
So you weren't
So
you
it was just
weren't
me.
you weren't recruiting
I had
anybody
went
else to
down there
come
by
with you
myself.
because I know that's normally what happens.
Well, actually, I think, well, shoot, Steve was there. Steve actually, I talked to Steve to get recruited out there as well. So Steve he didn't want to go. Well, actually, he got Jack. Well,
Hmm.
Grambling had accepted him first.
Right.
He had went on and went
Okay.
to Grambling.
Yeah,
So
I recall him mentioning that.
yeah, I love for him. I love to have my brothers out there, but it was cool. It was cool because I went by myself and I had to deal with that. So. I ain't had to babysit. Nah, them my dudes, man. I
All
love them,
right.
man.
Well, and I'm trying to go back to because, like you were saying earlier, like whenever Coach Morning was talking to you,
Yeah.
you made it seem like you didn't even want to play anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kind of speak to that?
I
Like,
did.
what changed from
Because
wanting to play in college to not wanting to play?
at the time, because I was at a crossroads in my life, man. Because around that time, my grandma
Okay.
had passed. My grandma had passed, and that's like my mom. And it was like I don't know right now. I ain't know because I have. So I even went to the recruiter's office and
Mm,
went to the army recruiter office because I
right.
didn't know what direction I wanted to go to, even though I was getting recruited and everything for football. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what I wanted to do. So it was just like I don't want to play no more. I'm gonna go to school. I don't want to go to school. So I really didn't really make my mind up about going. But during the time of the season, during my senior season, I did prepare myself just in case if I wanted to go to the service or
Mm-hmm.
play football or something like that. So, and then I had to, then to answer your question about Coach Morning, I sat down and talked to Coach Morning about it, and he was like, go ahead and do it. He said, basically, go ahead and do it. He said, you'll still get your education, and he said,
Right.
your grandma loved you for
Mm-hmm.
it, and basically like that.
So did
So
you get any that?
he
Yeah,
was
he was
that
the
he was
guy that
that.
kind of pushed you,
Mm-hmm.
motivated you to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So did you get any assistance
Mm-hmm.
from the coaching staff as it relates to like being prepared? Like, did you have all your classes? Did you have the ACT? Did you have your clearinghouse stuff? Like, was there any assistance like from other than like yourself? Hmm.
Coaching staff, coaching staff wise, only nah. The only reason I had assistance is because I had people in my corner. Like I said, my dad used to play. He used to play college ball. My mom played ball. Shoot, my uncle, he was down there at Southern at the time. He understood the ins and outs of the school business and stuff. So he basically they was on me to get my information in, my ACTs and all that. So I pretty much had everything together. Class wise,
Hmm.
I was pretty good in class. So I wasn't really worried about the grades or anything. It was just getting everything together so I can have a smooth transition
Right.
going from high
Okay.
school to college.
All right. So that summer
Hmm.
leading into going to Jackson State, like, did anything change there preparation
Hmm.
wise?
Once I,
Hmm.
yeah, it did. I didn't realize how fast the game was. Once I got to summer practice, man, those guys were flying. I said you had big linemen that flying. See, at that time, like I said, when I played ball when I was a senior,
Mm.
I was like 180. I came in to Jackson State at 180. They just brought in a new coordinator in too. He was actually bringing in some fullbacks in, which I was one of them, and they was like, basically like, you gonna have to beef up.
Right. Like, not on this,
Especially
not on
180
this
not gonna
level.
cut it. Say we don't not on this level. You gonna have to beef up. So basically, what they basically just put me on a red inactive red shirt. I was on an inactive
Mhm.
red shirt for a
So
year,
how did that work out? So they
and
recruited you? Like, were you just coming on like as a preferred walk on, or
mhm,
okay? Hmm.
preferred walk on, like a
So you
preferred
came
walk
on
on.
like you said
Hmm.
you needed to pick up some weight, so you were looking to be a red shirt that first year. Um, so were you? How did you
Yeah.
take that? Like, did you understand that? Like, did you accept that, or like once you heard that, did you like, man, I still want to play, or did you come in and be like, all right, no, I need to get stronger, I need to get bigger, I need to get faster?
Yeah. Well, actually, when I came in, I was like, man, because I didn't realize how fast the game was. And this is coming from an HBCU stand.
Right.
The game was fast. The practice was fast. And I thought these guys were big. I I haven't seen guys this big before in my life, other than when we played West Monroe or Ruston or somebody like that. These guys, you got defensive line where you had guys that was 6'7", 6'8", 375 pounds, 400 pounds. These guys they move on them. They move like feathers in the wind. And it was a culture shock to me when I went out there. So at the time, and I'm really glad that they did put me on that. I'm really glad that they did put me on the inactive list. So I was able to practice.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't with the team, but I was able to lift weights and train and get my training. And
all right, so you go through that first season, and like you said, get a chance to pick up some weight. So coming into that spring, like, what was your expectation coming into the spring? Is one part of this question I want you to answer, and then like how did you do? How did you do academically, like the first semester?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you like this. This is my thing for the people. You know, your first year of school is your main. That's your anchoring ground.
Mm.
I wasn't ready. I'm 18. I was 18 years old. It's my first time away from the house, away from my parents and everything. I'm by myself. I didn't do nothing. I partied because I stayed in a football dorm, and at that time, who was there? Corey Bradford. He got drafted by Green Bay. He was heading out. He was heading out at the time. He got drafted and everything. He got drafted that year when I came in.
Yeah,
I was partying with them guys. I was partying with them, and I was so far behind in my grades, man, that it wasn't no coming back. I'm talking about Marvin. It was no coming back, and I never went to a school and flunked in my life, man. And that's what I was hurt about that because I was that far away from home, and I was like, man, I don't know what my mom and them gonna think of me and stuff because I'm not going to class anymore.
Well, you mentioned earlier about
it was
Jerry and Steve not going with you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think like if you would have had some other people with you or some support system, like you may have done better? Okay,
probably so. Yeah, I believe I did. I believe I could if I had, because I went to a place where I don't have any family. I didn't know anybody out there. So maybe if I did have the support system with me out there, we probably be out there. I probably would have finished out there. But that first year,
So,
I didn't.
After the first semester,
I didn't make it.
And like you say, you didn't perform well. Like normally, the coaches pull you in and have a conversation with you. How did that go?
They did. They said, Shaw, basically you said you on academic well, you ain't on you're on probation right now. Said basically if you don't pull these grades up, we're gonna take your inactive away and basically just remove you from the roster. I said I understood that.
Nothing changed.
I wasn't listening, man. Nothing changed, man. Nothing changed at all. And like I said, I'm 18 years old, fresh. I'm in a big city by myself.
Right. Well, and that, I guess that's what I'm saying. And a lot of people will trust me. Obviously, you've heard a lot of people have similar stories. And I guess I'm still just trying to find like what could have been done differently. And like you said, you just basically said that you were not prepared. Like, what do you feel like could have prepared you? I know we spoke a little bit about having a support system, but is there anything that you could have done previously to getting to Jackson State that could have better prepared you for the independence? Because you still got work to do, but you have all this independence.
Still got work to do. My thing is, I should have took it serious. I should have took it way more serious than I really did. Especially going to the classes like at Southwood, basically like taking more honors classes and stuff. I should have did that. I had the grade point averages at Southwood to do them, but why do them? I'm playing football. I ain't have to do them.
Right.
So shoot, but I should have prepared myself for life after.
Right.
Like,
Well, but
life
like, do you
after high
think
school.
like, and I guess I'm just trying to like, do you think there was something like tangible, like something like when you say prepare yourself, like what does that mean? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah,
And I'm just saying, like, for other people who will listen to this and they'll be like
yeah,
getting ready to go from high school into college, and like you can speak to like something tangible that you think that you could have done
tangible.
preparation wise, or maybe even something intangible that you could have done to help better prepare you for going to college, having to go to class and study on your own without having any accountability from any family member or any friends. You're accountable to yourself, but that's probably the first time in your life where you were accountable to yourself, and nobody else was there to help reinforce that.
Yeah, yeah, it really was, and it's just like I said, shoot, just the network. Just
Yeah, well, and it may not
man.
be.
I
It may not
really
be
can't
something you can
explain
answer.
it.
Right.
Yeah, I can't answer it because shoot, if like I say, if you have if an incoming freshman for going to a college and wanted to do that, especially the way that I did it, my thing is stick to those books, man. Really, I wouldn't just stick to those books. Stick to the books. Know you there for a purpose,
Right.
and you should be
Well, and you
fine.
mentioned that you said you came there during the
Yeah.
summer. Was that during like 2 days, or you came actually before then? Okay, so you
I
showed up.
came. I
All
came
right.
in 2 days. Yeah, I
All
showed
right.
up in two
So
days.
that spring comes. I mean, you have the conversation with the coaches. I'm assuming that maybe around December, January,
Yeah.
and they're letting you know that you need to change your grades or do better. And you was like, "I get it, coach." And then
Yeah.
this spring semester comes, and then the spring semester in Jackson
Mm-hmm.
State is a great thing.
Wind it down. Yeah, it's very
So
great. Very great.
so you
But
go through the spring semester. Are you still practicing with the team or working out with the team at this time?
I'm still at the time I'm still working out, but
Mm-hmm.
sure, it wasn't no contact with the team or anything. I had to work out on my own. But with the guys out there, I was still like I said, I'm still working out with them. But once I started working out by myself and doing this stuff, I started realizing like, man, I shouldn't have came out here, especially
Right,
being by myself. And I sat down and talked to Coach Nord and I talked to Coach Carson and I told him
right,
I need to get back home. I told him because it's too much money being spent for me to come down here and waste your guys' time. I was like, I was ready to come home anyway. I got
okay. So that was.
homesick anyway. So
I'm assuming this is
I
maybe
was ready to
around
come back
May
home.
at the end of that first year. So you decided to just kind of pack up and go
Yeah, for
home.
sure.
So how was that conversation like
Yeah.
with your parents? Because most people they get to the point where the school kicks them out and the school tell them they can't come back. But you seem like you just kind of made a decision to where like, all right, I'm homesick, and maybe this wasn't exactly what I
Yeah.
thought it would be. So what was that conversation like with with your folks when you were deciding to come back home?
Well, my dad understood it. He understood it, and like I said, shoot, 'cause this was my first time really just messing up in school. We be doing all the other stuff I was doing and carrying on like that. So they kind of they didn't understand it, but they understood it because I'm not even 20 years old. I'm out to see it. I'm in a whole different state, and I understood. They understood it. So basically, my dad told me, said, "You gonna go to school, or you gonna work,
Right.
or you gonna go to the military?" He said, "Shoot," he said, "You
That
gonna
sounds
do
like a very
something."
familiar conversation
So
for everybody. So
he said, "Shoot," he said, "I got no problem with you being home, but you gonna go home. You gonna be at school. You gonna go work. You gonna go to the military. One or the other." He said, "You just can't lounge around here." I understood it. So what I did, I went on and because actually I went back and tried to
okay,
get into Louisiana Tech. I tried to get into Tech at the time, but I had a conversation with Steve at the time, and he told me that They was at all the fellas was at Grambling and going.
All right. So you were mentioning that you were
Mm-hmm,
trying to get in Louisiana Tech, and then you were talking to Steve, saying that a lot of the old teammates were over at Grambling.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Once I was already accepted in the Tech, Louisiana Tech. They were going to take me as a probationary student after I got put on probation at Jackson, but yeah,
Right.
but they were going to take me as a probationary student, and I already had my suite and everything. I called Steve and told him that I was going to be at Louisiana Tech. He was like, "Man, don't go there." He said, "Shoot, everybody at Grambling, come on to Grambling." So I went out there to Grambling, and I went out there, and that's where I was.
That's where you was at.
That's
So
where I was raised at.
so after you, like you said, came back home, went to Grambling. Like,
Hmm.
did you ever have any other aspirations of playing
I
college
did,
or
I
okay?
did, because I really had the aspiration. Really came back once I seen Mike and when Mike and Elwood was out there playing. When Elwood
Hmm.
Washington was out there, I was I was like, shoot, if they can do it, I know I can do it.
Hmm.
So I went out there and tried. I went out there and tried out, and I it went okay. It went okay. I got looked at, and
Hmm.
I got released. So after that, it wasn't no big deal. After that, once they released me, I was like, I'm done. You know.
Okay. So you were good at walking away and not trying again. Like you were
Yeah,
at peace,
I was
I
at
guess we could
peace.
say.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
at peace after that. So I
Okay.
had a I had a chance to meet. I had a chance to meet Coach Robinson and Coach Williams and everybody.
Oh well, that's
I
cool.
was
If you
I was
got a
cool,
chance to do
man.
that, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So I'm grateful for what I did, what I went through out there. So
All right. So
every yeah.
so you were just 100% student at Grambling. How was that?
Hmm. It was
How was that
actually
just?
cool.
Hmm.
Well, it was actually cool because now at that time once I went to Grambling, I think it was after a semester of Grambling. I got Jerry in the school, so Jerry Wayne came out there. He was out there for about two. He was out there for about 2 years, and we was roommates, and it was just like old times. It was just like back at Southwood again, you know.
Right.
And shoot, we had the guy, well, Steve, Dunny, and Mike. They stayed down the hall from us. Mike
Hmm.
stayed in the football dorm, and we just had fun, man, and
Cool.
we took care of business too. So.
So one, I guess that was the other question. So
Mhm.
without some of the extra responsibilities, you were able to focus in on your schoolwork.
Yeah, yeah. Without the responsibilities, I was able to do that. And
Okay. All right. Well, good. Like, so what advice would you give, young athletes today as it relates to,
mhm.
them in high school looking at playing at the next level?
The advice that I had to give a young athlete is basically start start early. Make sure you get your grades. Your grades will carry you your life. The grades will carry you for the rest of your life. And train and have fun. You know, just train and have fun, and just take care of yourself. Take care of your body. Take care of yourself. You know.
Right. Okay. And what experiences do you think you had playing sports that you wouldn't have been able to get anywhere else?
Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna tell you like this: self esteem issues. You know, so basically,
Mhm.
you can sit up and look at people and talk. You know, instead of most people keep their head down and talk and moping around. You build self esteem. You build character about yourself. You know, and I don't regret a day that I don't regret a day that I played. I
Right.
really don't.
Cool. All right. Do you advise
Hmm.
current players and even when you played to have other interests outside of the sport that they may play? Because I mean, that sport consumes you so much, and then once
Hmm.
you look up, you may not have other interests, other hobbies, other than other than the sport that you play.
Other than the sport that you play,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can't. Well, I can't. I can't say that for different sports. Because some sports you can actually, I think you can balance certain things with different sports. But if you trying to play at a professional level, if you're trying to go to like a semi, because I consider college like semi-pro,
Yeah.
and if you try to consume, try to do something else by doing that, it won't work. It won't work, and I'm proof to that. And but so I think certain sports you can actually balance, can juggle and balance other things. But if you try to do it pro, if you try to be a pro athlete, you won't even have time to do anything else. So
Gotcha. Okay. So we're gonna wind back to Southwood,
hmm
and we had a story about that I need you to provide some clarity on about this vehicle that
oh
was
oh oh
there was a stolen vehicle that we had a previous story about. So I need you to shed some light on it, if at all possible, sir.
yeah. I'm not gonna say any names or anything. I know who said it. So oh man, yeah, we was actually supposed to senior skip day. I think it was like it was going to the fall Christmas vacation or whatever. And I don't know what happened. I ain't gonna tell. I gotta look. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna incriminate nobody. But I was doing something. I was doing something I ain't supposed to been doing,
Right.
and I left the keys up in first aisle. All right, I'm looking for my keys. Well, Jerry and Steve, this is about second, third aisle. I think at this time we in a block schedule, so
Mm-hmm.
by second period, those guys come back from Steve. He's at school. Jerry come back from career center, and he was like, "Man, you ready?" I'm like, "I don't even know where my keys at." I'm like, "You don't know where your keys at?" I'm like, "Oh man." So Jerry had came back from career center. He said, "Man, I seen so in the car over there at career center. This and that." He said, "You let him get the car." So Jerry was getting mad at me. I said, "Man, I ain't get mad." I said, "Man, I don't even know where the keys at." So so we in school the whole day. We walking around. We in the front of the school. I said, "Man, this dude better not come back up here." So he came back up here. He riding through there. So we cut all the way through the front. The front of Southwood, where the flagpole and all that stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
We running through that long. So I said, "Come here, come here." But those words, but come here.
Did you know him?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
I know him
you knew
well.
him.
Know him very well.
Did-
And it was three other people in the car. But I know them very well. So I'm not going. And like I told him, I said, I don't even want y'all. I want him. But shoot, the guy threw the keys. Well, we got him to stop. Got him to come back in the car. Well, he gave me the keys and everything. I said, took my car, nothing like that. He tried to hand me back the keys. I slapped the keys out of his hand. And shoot, it was like, shoot, I said, "You took my mama car, this and that, this and that." So he was like, "Man," some cuss words and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to swing. I missed. Jerry went over me and tried to swing. He missed. One of the security guards, I can't think of the security guard name. Well, he's called Maul Swag.
I know who you mean. I know exactly who you mean.
He's
So.
called Swag.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, he's like, "Man, what's going on?" He said, "What y'all doing?" 'Cause, he know us.
Mm-hmm.
He knows he go on football trips with us. He was like, "What y'all doing?" I said, "Stole my car. He stole my mama car." He looked at old boy. And he told him, "Man, you on your own." He got off, old boy. Dude took off running. He took off running. I promise. And then when that time, look, once he took off running, the school bell rung. So everybody from the school came out.
Mm.
Only thing you see You see four people running across the field, chasing this dude over to the soccer field. And next thing you know, it turned to a fraternity show over there. That's all I can tell you. But I ain't gonna tell nobody I failed too. But yeah, I caught a whole lot of flack because I failed because I tried to jump that chain link fence and
that chain link. Okay, yeah,
and was flat face first. But man, I'm gonna tell you like this, Steve, right? We didn't get in trouble for that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get in trouble. Only thing that was told for us, was told to us was don't do nothing so y'all can be back next semester. That's all that was said. That was it. That was it.
All right.
Yeah,
hey, shout out to All Swag, right?
All Swag. That's my boy. I told him, I said, y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all don't know nothing about All Swag. All Swag. That's my boy.
Yeah. No, I seen him. Well, this was a while ago. He's like, I don't know if he's a police officer or something in law enforcement, but I saw him a while back.
Oh wow,
that's
funny. Oh man, that was crazy though. Those were crazy times, man. I'm glad I'm not like that anymore, man. I'm peaceful, man.
All right. Peaceful. But as a Grambling alum, like, what were your thoughts on the Bayou Classic being hosted in Shreveport, Louisiana this past season? What was your thought?
I'm gonna tell you like this: it wasn't promoted right.
Okay.
It wasn't promoted right, and the city actually started doing the promotion like a month before the classic. But if you went to New Orleans, they promoting all year. It's being promoted all year, and they knew it was going to be here, so you should start promoting as soon as they announced.
Yeah, as soon as it was awarded.
Yeah, and plus that wasn't a game. I don't know what that was. I'm like, oh man, that was horrible, man. That was horrible, man. It's just.
Well, and I guess my question: Do you think it's beneficial? Because I know they've had. I can remember offhand at least 2 times the Bayou Classic has been in Shreveport. Like, do you think it's beneficial to have it in Shreveport, just because of?
I think
where it is, the facilities, the opportunities for events and venues are obviously limited based on what's normally in the New Orleans market. So I'm just curious on your thought process as a Grambling alum.
As a Grambling alum, I'm glad that it's up here because the kids get a chance to witness and see. Because some of these kids right here have never seen Southern play. You even got kids right here that never seen Grambling play. And I'm glad they actually host a game up here because actually I believe it's the first game they hosted up here in the last 3.5 years. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what ended up towards that, and it's just, man,
Well, I think some of it, and I may be wrong. I'll fact check. I think the mayor of New Orleans has been very strict on gatherings. Because I think even at one point, the New Orleans Saints were going to have some games, or at least entertaining having some games in Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
because of some of the restrictions that the mayor of New Orleans had imposed on the city. So I believe that was the primary reason they ended up having the Classic this year in Shreveport, but it's because of the restrictions from the mayor of New Orleans.
Yeah, but the city should have handled it a lot better. They should have handled it a lot better, in my opinion, because I was on Facebook announcing it to everybody. I'm like, yeah, we got the Classic up here next year. Like, and what y'all want to do is the Classic is here, and right before the Classic came, that's when you start seeing it on TV, you start hearing it on the radio. I'm like, they got tickets to sell. I said, I bet you guys do got tickets to sell if you promote it, you can sell the tickets. And plus, you got all these kids around here in these schools, man. They actually could have filled it. I understand the COVID, but if you wanted to sell some tickets, you could have gave those tickets to the kids in school.
Right.
So
Or at least got them to, like you said, at a discounted price to where
yeah,
you got a bunch of $5, $10, $15 tickets. I mean, you're gonna get people. You'll get
but
people going.
but you want to know what? I understand why people ain't here now because the band wasn't here too. I forgot the band wasn't here.
Okay.
So it was a crowd here, but it
Mhm.
wasn't nothing that it wasn't nothing spectacular.
Nothing like you normally used to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Well, let's get you a couple quick hitters, man, so we can get you out of here.
all right, man.
So give me your top 5 Pittsburgh Steelers
Oh man, that's
of all time.
of
Top
all
5.
time.
Yes.
Steelers of all time, huh? I'm gonna go 5-1.
Okay.
Number 5 will be. I'm gonna say Greg Lord.
All right.
Number
That's
4, I'm gonna say Jerome Business.
okay.
Number 3, I ain't gonna. Oh shoot, who I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say Starworth.
All right.
2, Bradshaw. 1, who I'm gonna put in that number 1 position. I gotta put Jack Lambert. 'Cause I like Jack Lambert. That's my
Oh,
boy.
wow.
Jack, my boy. Crazy Jack.
You
That's my
you
boy.
done you done left quite a few people off. I thought
I
you.
left a whole lot of people off, but those
But
those are
that's
mine.
yeah, that's yours. That's your list. So I got
Yeah, I love Crazy
absolutely.
Jack though. No T.
All right. All
Oh man,
right. Second one. So best Alabama running back of all time.
all time.
Yeah, just from your viewpoint. Maybe not statistically, or maybe even like championship wise, but from your viewpoint,
My
who's the
viewpoint.
best?
Mm, Derrick Henry.
Derrick
I
Henry.
love Derrick. Love Derrick.
All right. And I guess some other question, part of that is like, how was your feelings about the Steelers drafting the Alabama running back this past season when Najee Harris ended up with the steel curtain?
We need. We needed it. We actually needed it after that debacle of last year, after going 9-0 and being exposed. We need it. When you find out, I love James Conner. Don't get me wrong. I love
Yeah, he's
Conner. I
good. He's a
love
good
his.
player.
I
He's a
love
good
his
player.
story. I love his
Mhm.
story, but it's time to go. It's time to put up or shut up. Okay,
Right.
I understand you had counsel. That's cool. That was 4 years ago. You haven't done anything in the last 4 years other than being hurt.
I like
So
Dre was like, yeah, you had cancer. That was cool. But what did you do last season?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But
Right.
no, I understand. Like I said, shoot, man, counsel sucks, but
Mhm.
shoot, but man, I just like what you playing. So, what have you done for me lately? But
Right.
but
Right.
but yeah, I like James Conner, but I'm glad he on another team and they give him a shot. I think he went to Carolina. No, he
Arizona.
went to
I think in
Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah, in Arizona.
So I'm glad they give him a shot. I'm glad he's still in the league and everybody giving him a shot. So I
Okay.
love. I'm glad he ain't over there. I'm glad he ain't over there with us because he's not running. He don't run across the line of scrimmage. He
Right.
don't. So I'm glad we
Okay.
got. We get. Yeah. I'm
What is,
sorry.
what's your most memorable and what's the best game that you've ever actually played in?
Best game I ever played in. The best game I ever played in. Mm. Yeah, I think it's a 2-part question. I'm gonna
Okay.
say my best. I'm gonna say the best game I ever played in was Cabin Shreve, senior year,
Mm.
when we was on the goal line and I had opened up a hole for Dashawn and Dashawn hit that sideline where he went like 99.
Mm-hmm.
I think he went 99 yards, and that play started because I did.
Right.
Because I hit that middle linebacker and knocked him on his butt.
Right. Cool.
The,
I remember that. So
yeah, the most memorable game that I ever played, the most memorable game I ever played was Huntington. That was the first time I ever played against my cousin. My first cousin actually.
okay.
He was a cornerback, Carwin Shaw, and we was talking all week. We was talking all week. They won. Don't get me wrong. Huntington won. I think they won that game. Yeah, they won that game. But our families, well, his mom, they Huntington. We were Southwood. We had the little family rivalry thing going on, and it was in the
Well,
stands.
you were supposed to be going to Huntington, right? That was an
Yeah.
option for you to go to Huntington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was an option too. So, but he didn't start off going to Huntington. He was going to Bird. But I tried to get him to come to Southwood.
Mm.
Yeah, he wanted to go to Huntington. So that's his
Okay.
loss. But nah, shoot, but that's my most memorable game, the Huntington and Southwood game.
Okay. So so who was the toughest person that you ever played against?
The toughest person I ever played against? The toughest person I ever played against was Frank, twin.
Okay.
Well, Fred. I keep switching him up. Fred hit hard as an ox, man. He's strong as an ox. He hit hard, and that's during practice. Because I really think during the game, really nobody couldn't touch me out there. I really think that, but me going straight down here, nobody couldn't touch me. But practice-wise, those guys groomed me to play that position, man. And Frank used to light me up. We was second team. He was first team defense. He used to light me up every time, man.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as of right now, like who do you listen to, like music wise?
Music wise?
Yeah, who you listening to music wise? Producer wise or MC?
I'm gonna tell you, music wise, I'm listening to a whole lot of just a whole lot of new funk, man. I listen to funk. Shoot, I listen. It's this cat called Dane Funk. He based out of California, man. He funky, man. He remind me of George Clinton, man. And he got some good stuff, man. He do a whole lot of production with Dr. Dre and Snoop and all those guys and everything, and he's funky, man.
All right.
And producer wise, I've been keeping up. With some. You know my theme. I'm West Coast basically. I like my West Coast producers. So I like in the Bay. They got a group it's a production group called the Mechanics. They got the new style rap with the old 90s sound. Check out the Mechanics, man.
Mechanics,
slap.
all right.
It slap, man. Yeah, all that stuff slap. So yeah.
All right. And who would you like to see next on the podcast?
Oh man, I would love to see. Try to get Edward Washington.
Edward Washington.
I want to see my boy. I want to see my boy Fats on here, man. I want to see what my boy got to say because he got some stories, man. We got some stories. So I love to hear what he got to say, man. And that's really it, man. Just listen to Edward and see what he got to say.
Okay. Well, all right, man. No, thanks for your story today. It was it was good, man. It was great, man.
Yeah, shoot, man. Appreciate it, man. Shoot, I ain't doing it no more. No, I'm just playing, man. I'm glad you came to me, man. Shoot, man. I'm glad you came to me, man. I'm glad to see you too.
Man.
You know it, man.
Well, we appreciate your time.
All right, Marvin, man. I see you, man.
Thank you for listening to the More Than Sports Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and set your notifications so you can be up to date on new content. Also, if you have a story you'd like to share, please reach out to us at mystory@morethansportspodcast.com.
And I won't stop.